everybody. It is Kelly Nielsen here, the Grief Guru. And on this channel, we discuss all things related to grief. What does it look like? What does it feel like? But most importantly, we share tips, tools, and resources on how to move through grief and get back to living a life that you love. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about coloring for self-care. Now, stick with me. You may not realize how coloring might be a useful tool in your grief recovery arsenal, but it is. And let me tell you why. When you're going through the experience of grief and loss, your thoughts and emotions can be chaotic. It can be overwhelming. It's hard to discern sometimes what comes first, the thought or the emotion. It feels like we get attacked and violated by these intrusive thoughts and these overwhelming emotions all the time. It's really easy to feel like a victim of these things and to feel like you have no control over your mind and over your emotions. And the truth of the matter is you probably don't, at least not at first. The grief, like I said, can be overwhelming, it can be consuming, and it can be driving you instead of you driving it. But there is an opportunity and an ability for you to get in control of your thoughts and emotions if you can actually steer the ship, so to speak. You can do some intentional things to help restore order in your mind and to calm your emotions and process through your emotions so that they're not having their way with you, so that you're actually having your way with them. I know it might seem far-fetched, and what in the world does this have to do with coloring? But let me explain the connection. First of all, emotions don't happen in a vacuum. Emotions are the result of thinking specific thoughts. So actually, everything begins with our thoughts. We think a thought, and then based on that thought, it produces an emotional response. And so when you think thoughts of losing your loved one, it can produce the emotions of being sad or being overwhelmed or being afraid or being fearful for the future. All these emotions can come from that thought. And you can have thoughts that are bouncing around in your head all day long or showing up whenever they want. So what we need to begin to do is to pay attention to what we're thinking and to give our mind other things to think about or constructive things to think about, so that when these grief thoughts or these intrusive thoughts show up, we have a productive way to process them and somewhere for our brain to put them. Our brain thrives on patterns and predictability. Our brain is really just a robot that's always looking for instructions and making loops, but we can actually direct some of that. So how does coloring play into all of this? Coloring is such a powerful thing because it gives your brain something to do. It gives your brain something to focus on. And I like it because, you could also watch TV or do other things that would give your mind something to focus on. But watching TV or movies, and shows can evoke an emotional response. If you're watching storylines, there can be triggers in there that you're not aware of. You can be watching a show and then all of a sudden see a hospital scene or see a death scene, or even see, a parent-child relationship that's going to trigger thoughts and emotions related to the loss. And then there you are on your downward spiral. So the name of the game, at least in the beginning, when you're dealing with grief and trying to get your feet just on the ground, is exactly that. You're trying to get your feet on the ground and incorporating stability and structure and restoring a sense of peace and order and calm to your thought life is huge. Once you can restore calm and order in your thought life, your emotions then have the opportunity to follow in suit. And you can have the room to process the loss in a way that is healing and productive, and not in a way that is going to keep you spiraling out of control and not in charge of your own thought process or your own emotions. And so that's what I love about coloring. I'm going to show you my even colors. This is my latest work. It's a little tree and it's pretty intricate, and that's part of the genius of it, or part of the intentionality of it, is to have pretty intricate designs that you really have to focus on, so that you look and you're sitting and you're focusing on something that isn't death and loss, that isn't some other storyline. It tires your brain out. It gives your brain productive, creative opportunities to focus on something other than your feelings. And you may even find as you're doing something creative like this, that some feelings come up for you, or some sadness may come up, and that's totally okay. That's a healthy way to let some of those feelings out. Journaling is another way people use this, just journaling their thoughts, or writing out what they're thinking about, or writing a letter to their loved one. Those are all great things, but this specifically I like to use as a self-care technique to just give your brain some downtime that is still productive and creative and healing. I tend to be a kind of like all or nothing person, and I work, and I do all this stuff, and then I just veg out and want to watch TV. But this is kind of a happy medium where I can turn off my brain from that active, productive, maybe even stressful kind of time, and turn it to a more relaxing but still productive and creative. That is the key. Your brain is relaxing, but it's still producing, it's still being creative. It's just tremendously powerful. So use this as a tool, either as a regular practice, either once a week or even every day. Like, take 15 minutes to sit down and color, to just give your brain and your emotions a bit of a break. Or use this as a tool on those really heavy days. If you have a day where your thoughts and your emotions seem to be ruling you instead of the other way around, grab a coloring book, go outside to a park and just color. Give your mind something productive to do and just watch how it works for you. I hope this is a benefit to you. I encourage you to try out this tool, and I would love to hear in the comments how it was for you, or share a picture with us of your finished product. Maybe I'll come back and show my tree when it's finished. It's a work in progress right now. But that is it from me. For other tips and tools, be sure to subscribe to this channel. And if you'd like to have a free grief recovery session with one of our certified coaches, click on the link below and we'll be happy to chat with you. As always, myself and all of us here at Grief Guru, we are cheering you on in your grief recovery every step of the way. Till next time.